Hey y'all, what's up? Okay, no, hold on, let me focus, because I don't think my camera's focused. Okay. Hi everybody, welcome back to another channel. And back to another video. Very much long time no see. Okay, so I decided to kind of make like a Michaela, like, girl, where you been at? What is life like? How is your mental type of video, because I had filmed, okay, being very honest, I filmed a couple of times during the summer, but it was just a lot of stuff going on. Majority of my summer was literally, I thought it was gonna be like I was gonna be going to parties and da 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 and like going out. Majority of my summer was working, and when I say working, I mean working till like 2 in the morning.
Now work like a dog, day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch.
I mean, working, and some days really haven't getting home with no money. Like, it was very, I was at work my entire summer basically, because I was trying to save up for Talia's birthday trip, which is Miami. Which, if you follow me, you didn't see too much of Miami, and that's because all of Miami, I was fucked up. From the time we landed that plane to the time, I mean, to the time the plane landed to the time we took off. Like, that's how fucked up I was the entire time. I have some footage from there, but it's also like, Miami was a time. Like, you just had to be there to get Miami. Like, so much stuff happened, it made no sense. Like, it made no sense, but it was such a fun trip. And it was just like, every time I tried to take out my camera would be dead, which I swear I didn't know how, because I kept it updated, or I didn't have any space, or it was just big. Like, I really think this summer I kind of had to put down the camera and just kind of like live in the moment a little bit more, and not be so, I wouldn't say not be on my phone, because that would be a complete lie, but like not have the camera in somebody's face all the time and worry about like the next shot and oh I need footage, I mean oh I need content, da, da, da. You know what I'm trying to say? But yeah, this summer was very goal oriented, and then since the summer I've just literally been working and trying to find my footing again. I did kind of have something specifically I wanted to focus on in this video, which is something I have like a whole complex over, and if anybody's interested, like DM me and I'll kind of have like a whole series, I guess, where I can talk about it. But something that, okay, I ended up meeting this boy at like kind of the start of the summer, and I ended up really liking him, which took many people by surprise. If you watched any of my old videos, that was so not on my mind, so not on my agenda. And I used to be like, oh, like, I want a boyfriend, like, oh my god. But like, very honestly, it was really, I ain't fuck about no boy. I learned a lot of things with, I guess, seriously liking somebody after my breakup, which I really did not think was like an issue for me. I have like this weird thing, right, where I have like a really hard time with admitting to myself that I want love. And I don't know if I've touched on this before. I have a really hard time with just, and it's just that sentence, right? Like, that sentence in itself is hard for me to even say out loud. With anybody but like my really close friends and like my cousins, like that. But like saying like, okay, I want to fall in love, I want a relationship, I want somebody who I can share my days with and, you know, be in my life, is such, it feels like I just said a curse word in church. Like, I feel like I'm a hoe in hell, not a hoe in hell, a hoe in heaven, something like, you know what I'm trying to say. It just seems like something you're just not supposed to say, you're just not supposed to do. And all summer I'm like, bro, like, where is this coming from? Why is it so hard for me to admit that this is what I want, that this feels good, that this is like okay to have? And of course there's like many layers to it, you know. On one hand, I don't like being vulnerable. What's in it? Like, Billy, you're messing up the vibe. But anyway, so on one hand it's like I don't want to be vulnerable, and that it's like that's like anything to Michaela. Like, we already know that I don't like to be vulnerable. I don't like to talk about my feelings if I don't feel it is a necessarily safe place to do so. I don't like I don't like asking questions that I'm not gonna like the answers to. I don't like getting irritated. I don't like opening myself up to hurt and to pain and to nothing but joy. And essentially, when you're saying you want a relationship, you want love, as much as we can all look on the bright side and be like, well, love is beautiful, love is kind, love is, you know, all of these things, you're also signing yourself up for the bad parts of love, which is anything in a sense where it's not really love, but the idea of it, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I read this quote where it was like, somebody always has to leave. And it's like voluntarily or involuntarily, meaning like death or something. Somebody has to leave. Everything has to end. And relationships, especially being so young, you know, somebody that I'm with now at 20, I wouldn't say it's very unlikely, but it's not a good chance that I'm going to be with them at 25. Meaning between these 5 years, it's going to have to end. And saying that I want something meaningful and significant in my life is essentially signing myself up for heartbreak. But it's like, I love the feeling of being in love and not being in it anymore. I wish that I cherished it more than I did, and I wish I realized like how beautiful it is to truly feel safe and calm and seen with another person. You know, like I had gotten it, I guess, so young that I wouldn't say I didn't appreciate it, but it didn't hit me on how significant that is. Because there's so many people in your life that come in when you're single. You know, you meet boy at Walmart or boy at a party or boy on Instagram, and these niggas, they don't talk about nothing. They don't talk about nothing. They don't do nothing. They, like, that's it. They don't talk about nothing. They don't do nothing. Like, they have very little going on. No, I've met a lot of people who like really didn't care about getting to know me, but more so just like the fact that like I'm pretty and, you know, I can make a joke and I am probably maybe interested in about your life and is gonna ask you questions and da. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people I feel like I've met like the idea of me and not actually me, and that's like such like a big thing to you, especially when you're young and still figuring yourself out. Like, it feels good to be seen as an actual person and not just a number on the phone or just, you know, another bitch. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? But yeah, like, I wish that I kind of realized on just how special that is, and now that I'm out of it, I really realized like that is like, it's a beautiful emotion, man. Like, being in love is like, on another thing that I learned was just, you know, my whole issue about being vulnerable, which I am like slowly breaking down my walls. I'm like actively trying to deal with that. Like, that's not something like, oh, I just don't like being vulnerable, whatever. No, like, I'm trying to not be so guarded. But another thing that I kind of had to realize was I grew up in a family where it was predominantly female, you know? Like, I had my mom, I had my aunt. All three of my cousins, which that sounds so little, but like, I was with them a lot growing up, were all women. My grandmother, like, just very predominantly female. Like, I've lived with my mom, me and my sister all my life. So, you know, living with a house of all girls or growing up in a family of all girls, I feel like people understand, where it was like, always has been ingrained in me from even seeing my mother, was like, you don't need a man, I wouldn't even say want a man, but you don't need a man, you shouldn't want a man, who cares, like, chase your dreams, follow your heart, be independent, do everything yourself, don't rely on anybody. Like, being, I guess, taken care of by a man was never anything that I had ever seen before growing up. Or like, you know, women just being outlandishly spoiled and taken care of, and like, and I'm not saying I wasn't shown bits of examples of it, because like my grandparents, like, they're super in love, but you know, like regularly, like a nigga holding a door for a woman, or just like, oh, I just paid for your nails, like that type of stuff, I was never shown. Like, it was always very much, do not hold your hand out, take care of everything yourself. Like, there was just nobody to ever depend on. Like, that's what I was taught. And so growing up as that, you know, with combined with, I feel like, the media and what I've shown of like, okay, if you're independent, once again, like, you don't need a man, you don't want a man. Like, a man is not even on your radar because you're so busy, because you do everything yourself, because you could take care of yourself. And for a really long time, I wore that with a lot of pride, with a lot, it was like a badge of honor. It was like, oh, I'm so independent, like a nigga's not even on my radar, like da da da. Being so hyper independent and being taught that because you don't need a man, you shouldn't want a man, you shouldn't want love, like it shouldn't be on your radar. And also seeing it within the media, for me, admitting it out loud was like a sin. It was like something that you don't repeat. Like, how are you so about your own life and about your freedom, and you want a man? Like, bitch, tighten up. Like, that's how I would feel. Like, okay, if I want a boyfriend, then I must not be healed enough to like, if I want a boyfriend. Like, it was like that. And looking back on that mindset, it's crazy because those two are not interchangeable. But it was always really interesting to me when I would be in therapy and I would tell my therapist, and she's a young woman just like me, she's like a couple years older than me, but I was telling her, like, you know, I'm really lonely, and like I want a boyfriend. Like, I want somebody to like spend my days with and to text all the time and to do this and do that. And she's like, well, what about you? What about you, Time Michaela? What matters to you? Why don't we look like, she was like trying to do the whole like turn it forward, and that was always mindset. But I'm like, that was always my mindset. But I was like, it doesn't matter how much healing and how much working on myself and how busy I spend my days to distract myself from these thoughts. The thoughts are still there, and there's nothing wrong with it. And maybe this is not going to go where I thought it was going to go, but it really does frustrate me, because when people hear you say that, they think that like, oh, this bitch is like a pick-me, oh, she want a man, like, oh, she not no diva. She ain't no diva. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, she's not, you bitch, focus the shit back on you gonna find a boy. But it's like, no, I can love spending my days by myself. I can love hanging out with my friends all the time. I can do X, Y, and Z every day. I can journal. I can go to therapy. I can work on myself to the deepest root of the core, to where if I sneeze, I know exactly why I'm sneezing. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's not going to stop me from wanting a companion. It's not going to stop me from essentially wanting more community for myself. Like, humans need community. Humans need people around who they feel safe with and comfortable and grounded and loved. Like, that is never going to be, no matter how much you do and how much self-isolation you do and how much self-work that you do, you're always going to want somebody around, whether it's platonic or not, who you feel like truly sees you and truly loves you. And I have people around me who are like that, but it doesn't stop me from wanting a boyfriend. And like, it's like nothing is wrong with that. And I feel like it took me so long, and it took me a lot of sitting with myself to even admit that sentence. But it also is taking me a little bit to, okay, I'm back. The other camera, it ran out of storage. So, story of my life. Like, I think also what I'm kind of figuring out and realizing is, okay, so past that sentence, what does that mean for you? Like, okay, you want a boyfriend, but now that you've admitted, like, you have to act on it, and you have to consciously make decisions that go towards that goal. But I also feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, let me know if anybody has any other things that they want to say, but this was some shit like, okay, I want it, I'm not fiending for it, and I just feel like when it comes to me, it's going to come to me when it's meant for it to come for me. Because I also know that I have personal issues that I'm dealing with Like, I've been saying a lot, but I'm like, I have a really hard time with showing up for myself. So for showing up for other people is like, sometimes it's like a whoa, like shit. And it's crazy because like I have no problem showing up for my friends. Like, I feel like if you ask anyone, hopefully, like, one of the things that come out their mouth is like, no, like when I need Michaela, like she's there, or she's very like considerate and she's thoughtful. And like, I go out of my way a lot for, I realize a lot of things that I really didn't have to do, but I try, like I really try. But I think when it comes to being in a relationship and showing up for myself and for that person, I'm more ready to show up for that person than I am myself. And so showing up for me and showing up for them has to be like a conscious thing that I have to do, because I'm so quick, oh my gosh, you need my help, what do you need my help with, what can I do for you, you need to do this, you need me to do that, like you need to go here, I will go with you. Like I wouldn't stop everything. Like I would probably try and do some things on my phone, but like I'm always very willing to just stop and help. What do you need me to do? Like what is wrong? Like it's okay. And I know it's because right now acts of service is my love language. I know it's because of my mom, because she's very helpful. She's very like, there's a problem, I got the fucking plan, let's go. But I'm trying to learn, like, you chill out. Like, chill out. Like, I always just want to help and to just help. Like, you are not the fixer of all problems. You are not the fixer of all problems, and sometimes people need to figure shit out by themselves. And I just feel like, I think it's because I also want a person like that for me. So it's like, oh, I say I need a pencil, another person be like, what kind of pencil do you need? I will get you any pencil in the world. I'm on my way to fucking Staples to get you 36 packs of pencils. Like, that is what I want, and that is how I am. Like, if I really do like you, I have no problem with helping you with anything. Like, fuck, you need help on your math homework, we're gonna sit here, we're gonna figure this shit out. Like, fuck. And it's just like, no, like, you cannot come in and play mommy. Like, you cannot do that. Like, you have to have people have their own journeys and your own journey. I hope what I'm saying makes sense, and I hope that when I watch this footage I'm not irritated by how I'm wording things. Can't be in a relationship, can't be vulnerable, that type of stuff. So I know that there's personal issues that I have to work with, and it's on something where it's like, these are not fixable problems unless you are dealing with somebody, which is like why I'm currently dealing with these problems, and why I realize I have such a bad fucking thing with communication and saying what I want and standing on it. Well, no, because I be standing on business, but like only with certain people, and that's the problem. But I just feel like if I don't like so okay, one hand, like I feel like, okay, I have also issues that I need to address with myself. So why necessarily seek out a relationship like actively when I know that this is what I have to do? So like, okay, if it comes to me, it comes to me. But it's also like, well, okay, you can't keep making moves that are actively going against what you want, like, and be confused as to why you're not satisfied and why you're not getting what you want. Like, you cannot talk to a man who doesn't want a relationship and then just be like, well, I'm not in a relationship. Like, girl, do you not see the do you not see what's going on? Like, do you not see the correlation? And it's like, oh, like, I see the correlation, I don't feel like it. Like, just don't feel like going through with it. Like, you know, when it finds me, like, that's everything. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Notes list. Well, I have a journal entry that I kind of was writing about, so I thought I would talk about it a little bit. I don't know. I think what I'm also learning is I necessarily felt like for a long time I didn't deserve to be loved, and I feel like I was on that journey pretty good this year, and then something happened and it kind of like really tore down my self-esteem. Like, I felt like I built up my self-esteem to like a 10, Because I was like, I would just look at myself and be like, you are so pretty, like you are so beautiful. Like I never felt like that beautiful in my life. Like I still really feel really pretty, and I know that about myself, but like, wow, confidence, fuck, I could have did a split in front of Obama and busted open, and I would have been like, I look cute doing it. Like, but it really fucked up my confidence really bad. Like it took me to, like, realistically, it really took me to like a 4 or a 3. And I didn't admit it I admitted it, but everybody would just be like, oh no, like you're so pretty. It was just like, whatever. So I feel like because I'm in the state, because like still going on, whatever, because I'm in the state, I don't necessarily deserve, or who would want to be with me while I'm in this state. And it's like, well, Michaela, if the love that you want so much and the love that you desire, that's not the type of love that you're gonna get. Let me rephrase that. If the love that you want so bad and the love that, you know, deep down you know that you deserve, if they don't love you with your insecurity, like if they don't love you in the state that you're in now, that's not the type of love that you want. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they don't love you in this state, that is not the type of love that you want. And that's just period. And you shouldn't feel like you can't be yourself, and you shouldn't feel like even the darkest, quietest, smallest moment, smallest parts of yourself are not worthy of being loved. Because at the end of the day, it's still you, and it still makes up who you are. And if you feel like you can't be who you are and entirely with that person, that's just not the love. But like, all of that is so stressful. Like all of that, thinking about all of that, doing all of that, making those decisions are so stressful and so like intentional. It's just like, oh, like, just, oh. So yeah, Michaela is learning that it is okay to want love. It is okay to receive love, because man, if it is not blooming adoration, if you are not strangely obsessed with me, I don't want you. And the crazy thing is, you know how I was like earlier, where it was like, you know, people like the idea of me, not actually me. That's where that comes from. Because niggas who like the idea of you love you down bad. Like, oh, like can't get enough of you, just think you are the freaking like the creme de la creme. Like, oh my gosh. But it's like, you don't really like me, you don't really know me, you don't know shit about me. Like, I barely even showed you my personality. That's why you think I'm just this most amazing girl in the world who is just so beautiful. And because of my big ass ego that loves to be fed, I love it. What? More. Tell me about how talented I am, because I wrote a fucking paper. Like, that is what I want. But that is not what I want, and that's not even what I deserve. And when I was freaking in it and talking to niggas like that, I wasn't even happy. So my camera's dying, so I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please join me on my journey to actually love myself and realize that I deserve love, and hopefully I kind of get love. You know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.